Know that. All right, welcome everybody. Let's begin. Oh, Sandy, welcome, Sandy. All right, so find a comfortable seat. Start by simply noticing any sensations that may be there. Is there joy? I'm just going to mute everybody. But is there a joy, a happiness? We're here. We're in yoga. Life is good. Is there a difficulty? Difficult sensations? And can you welcome all those sensations equally, treating pleasant and unpleasant the same without being attached to one or avoiding the other? That's the journey here. And not just pandemic, that is the journey of life. This pandemic is accelerating that for some of us. But the journey is a non-attachment to pleasure and pain, non-attachment, non-avoidance. Because Iyengar talks about friendly indifference. So not an indifference where I'll just ignore you, but a friendly indifference where we get to invite in whatever experiences are happening in this moment. Physical, emotional, equally. Of course, it doesn't mean we don't make adjustments. Once we observe, we can begin to make adjustments. So adjusting the balance of the sits bones so that they're even, if you haven't done that already. Finding a lengthening from the inner knees through the inner groins. Of course, more important than the adjustments themselves is the observation of the effects of the adjustments. What happens when you lengthen the inner groins? What happens in the abdominal region? What happens in the torso? What happens to the breath? Maintaining the lengthening, the releasing of the inner thighs, the inner groins. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. And again, pausing to notice the effects of that action. What is it for you? Lengthening through the side ribs. Finding a broadening across the chest, but also a broadening across the top of the back. And allowing the shoulders to release away from the sides of your neck. As you allow the elbows to draw down, bring the palms together. Soften all the facial features. Rest your eyes into your cheekbones. And then take a moment here to observe again. And to practice acceptance. Or friendly indifference. A welcoming of the here and now. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Om. Lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head. Gently allow your eyelids to open. Straighten your legs. Fingertips by your hips. And if you prefer the floor, if you don't want to be on a lift, it depends on your body. If the back begins to scoop, then a lift is going to be better for you. If you prefer the floor, then you can be on the floor. If the feet come together, take them together, heels together, toes together. And if legs don't come together, then that's fine as well. Toes straight up, take the little toes back towards you. Lengthen through the inner legs. The thigh bones do press down. Be careful that you don't press the shin bones and the knees down. So the awareness is at the tops of the thighs. If the tops of the thighs are doing it, you can bring the awareness to the center thighs. But don't just think of pressing the knees down. And then there's a lengthening from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner heel, but also lengthening from the upper inner thighs back towards the lower abdomen. And draw from your outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. And again, pausing to notice how all those actions affect the breath, affect the mind. Lengthening through the side ribs. Keep the front bottom ribs moving towards the back body as you do so. Allow the shoulders to release down. And ensure that you're broadening, yes, across the chest, but also across the top of the back. Sometimes we end up closing the top of the back as we broaden across the chest. And we want to keep both places open, the front and back lungs, the front and back heart. And then separate your legs. So again, you get to decide. Do you keep your lift? Do you come off of your lift? It's your body. Hands can be by your hips, traditional fingers forward, but if it gives you a little bit more balance and you need to turn the fingers backwards, you can do so. Ensure that your kneecaps point up and that your toes point up. That means for most of us, there's an internal rotation. The flesh of the inner thighs descend down. Most of us will let the legs fall out. So kneecaps up, toes up. Engage the legs. So again, press the thighs down. Press the thighs down. The thigh bone itself moving towards the back of the leg. So not just the knee, but the thigh bone itself moving towards the back of the leg. Lengthening from the inner thighs through the inner knees, through the inner heels, lengthening from the tops of the thighs back towards the abdomen. The flesh of the inner thighs descending. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together, but maintain the lengthening of the inner legs. See that you're not leaning back. Lengthen through the side ribs. And take your left hand inside of your legs, right hand on the outside of your legs. If you're on the lift, you might need to make your arm longer by taking a block or something like that. Lift up first. Inhale and exhale and turn your torso, turn your abdomen towards the right leg. The upper arms rotate out. That creates more space for the side ribs to lift up. Remember, the length is more important than the turn. So lengthen, inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. Are the thighs still pressing down? When you went to turn the torso, did you maintain the legs or did you forget about the legs? Is there equal pressure on the sit bones, or did the weight all shift to that right buttock? Keep an evenness there. So that right thigh, left thigh still has to press down. Soften the shoulders. Inhale on your exhalation, maintain the lift and length, come to center. Both legs working evenly. And the other side, right hand on the inside, left hand on the outside. Lift first, because there's always a little sinking when we do that, or often. So lift, get that lift. Inhale, exhale, turn. Still maintain the pressing of that, of that right thigh down. Thighs still turning in. Kneecaps up, toes up. Equal balance on the sit bones. Navel turning towards that left leg. See if you're beginning to lean forward or especially back. A lot of us lean back here. Maintain the spine in an upright position. Inhale, maintain the lift as you exhale, coming to center. Hold on the inside of the knees, pull straight up. Let the feet come together, Baddha Konasana. So if you're on a lift, you might want to take a strap. You can, if you're on a lift, either have your hands next to you is fine, or you can take a strap and put it underneath your feet and then hold close towards the floor. So your arms, they don't have to be locked elbows, but are straightish, not this one here. And if you're on the floor, you can take your hands, I mean, if you prefer your hands by your sides, I mean, that's fine as well. I kind of like this one though, where you take your hands underneath your feet, but there's a tendency then to pull your hands into your feet and pull the feet up. And I want you to push your feet into your hands and push the feet down. So either hands are around your feet or you're holding the strap, or hands are by your hips as we were doing in Dandasana and Upavista Konasana. And that's more the traditional is hands are by your hips. But for me, if I can get this action of the feet pressing down, for me, my groins can release more. But you can experiment with your body. Press your heels into each other. Press the balls of the toes into each other. Don't confuse the balls of the toes with the toes. The toes aren't pressing. The balls of the toes are. You can also slightly press the ball of the thumb into the foot and rotate the upper arms out if you're holding your feet. And either way, rotate the upper arms out. Lengthen from the inner thighs to the inner knees. Lengthen from the upper inner thighs to the lower abdomen. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips. So the more awareness you have of the upper, from the upper inner thigh lengthening to the lower abdomen, so that's drawing into the body, and drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips and bringing those outer hips into the body, compacting the outer hips, the more your knees will move out to the sides. The more your knees move out to the sides, the more they will move down. See, we kind of have it backwards where many people focus, let's get the knees down. But if you focus on getting the knees down, that's not beneficial. If you focus on these other actions, the lengthening of the groins, compacting the hips, the result is that the knees go down. But that's only a side effect of the actions you're taking. Focus on those actions and then focus on the results of those actions. And yes, lift up through the side ribs, broaden across the front chest and back chest. Take your hands on the outside of your knees. Push your legs together. Hold behind one knee. Draw the flesh towards the buttocks. Drag the heel, straighten the leg. Then the other knee. Draw the flesh towards the buttock. Drag the heel, straighten the legs. Back into Dandasana. And again, if you need to change the lift, change the lift. The abdomen does draw towards the spine. The front bottom ribs towards the back body. Shoulders softened. Side ribs lifting, lengthening as the thighs press down. And release. Everybody lie back, have a strap. So lie back, take hold of your strap. Bend your right leg into your chest. Put the strap around your foot where the heel meets the arch. And straighten your right leg towards the ceiling. Please, no death grips on the strap. If you want to do a loop and have your fingers dangling in the strap, you can certainly do that version. So the left leg is bent, right leg is straight. Press the thigh back. Press the right thigh back. No death grips, and please be careful for your knee. So the thigh bone presses back. Soften the shoulders. Lengthen the groin, so that inner right groin lengthen. Remember both directions, so out through the inner knee, through the ankle, through the ball of the big toe, and then from the upper inner thigh back towards the abdomen. Thigh bone pressing back, the outer hip also pressing back. Now there's a tendency to have either the outer foot pushing up, or then we overdo it, and then the inner foot pushes up. There is an extension to the ball of the big toe. The ball of the big toe is the peak of the pose. There's a broadening from the ball of the big toe to the ball of the little toe, so your foot gets wider. And there is a drawing from the outer knee to the outer hip. But can you have the balls of the toes parallel to, assuming your ceiling is flat, parallel to the ceiling? That the outer foot is not higher than the inner foot, but that you also don't correct it so that the inner foot is higher than the outer foot, because that's what ends up happening to many of us. And we end up doing it not from the foot, but from the ankle. So what we're looking for really here is that the inner and outer ankle are even. And then switch legs. So ensure left leg is up. Ensure that the kneecap points forward, toes are pointing forward, and that don't allow your leg to cross the midline. So ensure that your heel is over your hip, that it does not cross the midline. Please no death grips, soft grip, shoulders nice and relaxed, face nice and relaxed. Press the thigh bone back. The thigh bone and the outer hip move back towards the back of the leg, away from the shoulder, away from the head, away from the face, however you want to see that. But the left outer hip and the thigh move back. There's a lengthening of the inner thigh, from the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, through the ball of the big toe, and also from the upper inner thigh back towards the abdomen. Push through the ball of the big toe. That's the peak of the pose. It's higher than any other part of the pose. And there is a drawing from the outer knee to the outer hip. But can you see that as you widen the foot, as you broaden from the ball of the big toe to the ball of the little toe, can you keep them parallel to the ceiling or parallel to the floor without the inner foot, without the normal, for most of us when we start, the outer foot is higher because we're not really lengthening the inner leg. But then, so then we lengthen the inner leg, right? And we push through the ball of the big toe, which is the peak of the pose. But can you not take the outer foot down too much? You have to take it down so it's even, so that it's even, so that the ankle is even, so that the ankle isn't turned in or overcompensating turned out. So we need to create stability in the ankle as well. And then switch legs. Again, soft grips, soft, gentle, soft shoulders. Because if you're holding on for dear life in your hand with your hands, there's a good chance that your shoulders are tightening as well. So resist that. Right leg is up. Press the thigh bone back. Lengthen from the inner thigh, through the inner knee, through the inner ankle. Yes, push through the ball of the big toe, but can you keep your ankle, the inner and outer ankle should be even. And I used to use the instruction, take your little toe down towards the floor. Don't do that. I used to say that, but then what I began to notice was people would really be bringing it down and they'd turn their ankle out. So I don't say it anymore. It seemed to be an instruction that worked for some time, but then I saw it being overdone. Do broaden across the foot. So can you make more distance between the ball of the big toe and the ball of the little toe without getting your ankle involved? So the ankle is even. And of course, yes, if the outer foot still is higher than the inner foot, then yes, adjust it down because the ankle is being turned the other way. And now I want you to add an opening of the back of the knee. So think of the knee as an eye. Because Iyengar calls the back of the knee the eye of the knee. And the eyelid is the calf and the hamstring, the parts that are close to the knee. So take the part of the hamstring that's close to the back of the knee away. Bring the calf away. So the top of the calf moves towards your heel. The bottom of the hamstring moves towards your buttocks. And open the eye of the knee while still maintaining that even ankle. Now maintain that. I know we've been doing this for a long time. Maintain this. Drag the left heel on the floor, straighten the left leg. Left toes up, so the left thigh turns in. Did anything change in the right leg? What changed in the leg that's towards the ceiling? What changed? And adjust. Thigh back, ankle protected, foot widening, and open the eye of the knee. And now match the left leg to the right leg. However hard that right leg is working, match the left one to that. So thigh back, lengthen the inner groins, outer knees to outer hips, broaden the foot, broaden the toes. Those toes should be parallel to the wall. And open the eye of the knee of the lower leg as well. That means the top of the calf towards the heel, the bottom of the hamstring towards the buttock. And now pretend this is your favorite pose in the world. And then bend both legs, place your feet on the floor. Just give your fingers a little break. Even though I said no death grips, I have a feeling that there were some death grips. So we will do the other side, I promise you. Just give your hands a little break. And now take your left leg up. So left thigh bone back. Lengthen the inner thigh through the inner knee, through the inner ankle, push through the ball of the big toe, upper inner thigh, drawing back towards the abdomen. Thigh still pressing back. Now broaden across the foot. There is still the drawing of the outer knee to the outer hip. And if that outer foot is lifting up, then yes, take the outer foot or the outer pinky toe down, but don't overdo it. We tend to get instructions and we overdo them. We have to learn to find optimal versus extremes. And yes, that's in life also. So do broaden across the foot. But can you not have your ankle turned in or turned down? Keep the thigh moving away, keep the outer hip moving away. Now open the eyes of the knee, or the eye of the knee, the one knee that's up. So the bottom of the calf, or excuse me, top of the calf moves towards the heel. The bottom of the hamstring moves towards the buttocks. Do that while maintaining the ankle as well. That means you need to spread the awareness, right? So now we need to move the awareness to multiple parts of the body. It's that type of action when you can spread the awareness like that. That's what may begin to still the fluctuations of the mind. Purpose of yoga, to still the fluctuations of the mind so that you can bathe in your own true splendor. Now maintain this leg. So the thigh is pressing back, the hip is pressing back, the foot is secure, the inner leg is extending, the eye of the knee is opening. It's a lot going on. Now, can you maintain that and drag your right heel on the floor, straighten your right leg? And then if you lost anything in the left leg, get it back, thigh back, hip back, eye of the knee opening, foot broadening, ankle nice and secure. And then mirror the right knee. So the right knee is leg. So the right leg is working like the left leg. The thigh turns in, the thigh presses back or down in this case, a lengthening of the inner leg. The foot parallel to the wall, not the ceiling, the wall. The outer knees, both outer knees to outer hips. Take both legs in the strap now, just to get a sense of evenness. We won't be here long. But do press the thighs back, extend the inner legs, and draw the abdomen towards the spine. Soft shoulders, soft hands. And then bend your legs, put your feet on the floor, put the strap to the side, roll to the right, come up onto your hands and knees. We'll set up for downward facing dog. If you use blocks for downward facing dog, or the chair for downward facing dog, or if you're at home, the stairs for downward facing dog, then please get whatever you need, blocks, chairs, stairs set up. Start on your hands and knees. Not if you're on the chair. If you're on the chair or stairs, then you're standing. But otherwise, you're on your hands and knees, pressing down through the ball of the first finger and thumb and rotating the upper arms out at the same time. Pushing into the floor to lengthen through the inner arms. Now turn your toes under, straighten your legs. Inhale, lengthen through the arms. Exhale, take your thighs back. Take the sit bones towards the ceiling. Take the chest towards your thighs. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Turn your thighs and press your thighs back. How are your ankles here, Christy? Okay. See that your feet are doing the same thing. Ideally, the heels are hidden behind the toes, so your feet are straight. But honestly, if that's not accessible, have them doing the same thing. So downward facing dog, the thighs pressing back, lengthening through the inner arms, armpits, and side ribs. Lengthen through the inner groins, inner knees to lower abdomen. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Move those shoulder blades towards your waist and take your armpits towards your thighs. And look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back, take your chest forward, so torso parallel to the floor, thighs back, arms back, chest forward. Inhale and come up. And then take your feet together, center of your mat, Tadasana. Press your thighs back. So ensure your kneecaps are pointing forward. You can look down if you need to. Sometimes I have to double check. Press the thigh bones back. You're leaning your shoulders back, Leanne. Keep the shoulders over the hips. Right? Ensure you're not just leaning back and opening the chest. So we'll start with the legs. Bounce evenly on the feet, thighs back, but lengthen the groins. Draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen the side ribs. And instead of just lifting the chest, can you open the chest? Can you broaden across the chest? And can you broaden across the top of the back? From the center of the sternum, can you extend to the outer corners of the shoulders? And from between the shoulder blades, can you extend to the outer corners of the back shoulders? Again, we tend to overdo it, and we've heard that instruction so much. Lift the chest, open the chest. I'm not saying it's not a good thing to do. Lift the chest, open the chest, yes. But if you only do that, if you keep overdoing that, then you're closing the back body. And can you open the back body as well? And if you are able to access both the front and back bodies, notice what that does to the mind. Well, notice what it does to the breath first. Well, you go any order you want. Go to the mind breath, go to the breath mind. But notice how it changes the experience of the breath, and notice how it changes the experience of the mind. Because that's what happens when you expand your awareness to multiple places. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Take your fingertips up by your chest. Bend your knees. Jump or step your feet apart. So this is where you're going to really need to tell me if it bothers you, because there are adjustments we can do. But I won't know unless you tell me. Drop the shoulders, extend through the arms. Balance evenly on the feet. See if you can balance evenly on the inner and outer foot. Right? So this is, everyone take your hands on your hips for a moment. So this is another pose here where when we start off, often we're pressing into the inner feet. So then we give the instruction, press into the outer foot. It's a fine instruction. And I will say that again, you'll hear those words out of my mouth. But can you also then begin to play with it? Your right foot is turned out, Leanne. Your left one is straight, but your right one is slightly turned out. Make sure your feet are even, that the outer edges of the feet are parallel to the sides of the mat. And then can you find an equal awareness on the inner foot and the outer foot? Equal pressure on the inner foot and the outer foot. And I understand that the answer to that might be no, because we could spend the rest of the class just trying to achieve that. And yes, it has to do with the hips, and yes, it has to do with the knees, and yes, it has to do with the ankles, yes, it has to do with all of it. But can you seek it? An evenness of the left and right feet, but then also the inner and outer foot. And then turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Make sure your front heel is in line with your back arch. Press into the back heel. So the back thigh goes back. Press into the back heel. The front thigh turns out. So now we've been talking about the ankle a little bit. So when you turn the front thigh out, you want your knee in line with the top of the foot. Okay? That protects the knee. But there's something which I've noticed over the years that happens to a lot of people is then they fall into the outer foot. And then the ankle itself, the inner ankle moves outward and the outer ankle begins to move down. So I don't want you to do that. I do want you to turn the thigh out, but I also want you to press through the ball of the big toe. So the lower leg actually turns in slightly so you can press through the ball of the big toe as the thigh turns out. There's still a lengthening of the groin. There's still the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. But can you work the upper leg and the lower leg in different directions so that that ankle stays nice and secure? The words making sense? All right, parallel the feet. Don't worry, we'll go down. We'll do the whole pose. I promise you we will do the whole pose. What were you saying something? Did I hear something? Oh, I thought I heard something. I hear things sometimes. Right foot and left leg out. So turn the back toes in. Front heel in line with your back arch. The back thigh does go back. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. The front thigh does turn out, but notice, don't begin to notice before immediately correcting. So turn the thigh out and see what happens. Does the weight move to the outer foot for you? Does the ankle begin to turn? For me, it does. So then, with that knowledge now, I'm going to press into the ball of the big toe. I'm going to turn my lower leg in ever so slightly. I'm going to rotate the ankle in ever so slightly, and I'm going to press through the ball of the big toe. Of course, then my upper leg began to turn in. So now I'm going to try and do both at the same time, where I turn the upper leg out, knee in line with the top of the foot, yet I'm still pressing through the ball of the big toe, and my ankle is even. It's neither falling in nor falling out. Parallel the feet. Now we're back to symmetrical balance, evenly on the left and right foot overall. And then can you have an evenness on the inner foot and the outer foot? And left foot in, right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take the back thigh back from your hip, press into your back heel. Turn the front thigh out, but still press through the ball of the big toe. Can you have both those experiences at the same time? Lengthen the groins, both legs, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Turn your torso so it's parallel to the front and back walls. Extend the arms. Inhale, exhale, come down. Now everyone take your left hand on your hip for a moment. Just take your left hand on your hip, just taking the balance away from it. Come up higher, Christy. You're down too low. So open the chest. Yeah, that's it. And then open the chest. Take your left ribs and left shoulder back. And look straight at this wall here. That's it. So take the back thigh back, and from your hip, press into the back heel. Press into the ball of the big toe. Maintain that as you turn the front thigh out. So can you have both those experiences? That you're not overdoing the inner leg, you're not overdoing that turn of the thigh and falling into the outer foot. It's actually hard for most of us to overdo the turn of the thigh, but we can, if we're not doing the lower leg and the foot at the same time, then that causes issues in the ankle. So our hip opens, but at the expense of the ankle. That's not what we're looking for. Now lengthen the groins, lift your outer knees to outer hips, and then finish the pose, extend the arm up. Now we've done a lot of instructions here, but now the most important one, observe your pose. And reach through your hand, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet, take your hands on your hips for a moment, take a breath. But be here as you take the breath, even balance on each of your feet. Even balance on the inner and outer feet. And the other side, right foot and left leg out. Take the back thigh back from the hip, press into the heel. Now press into the ball of the big toe and maintain that as you turn the front thigh out. And sometimes you really have to play with that. Notice that this leg is much different than your other leg. It can work very, very differently. Lengthen the groins, draw the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. Now maintain that. Turn your torso so that it's parallel to the front and back wall, so that it's not facing your front leg. And so Christy, turn. That's it, right? But keep that front thigh turned out as you do so. Now extend the arms. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact those hips together as you come down. And then take your right hand on your hip, and we go through it all again, just to ensure that we didn't lose anything. So the back thigh moves back from the hip, press into the heel. Press the ball of the front big toe as you turn the front thigh out. Lengthen the groins. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact those hips. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Lean back on that wall. Make sure that ankle is nice and secure. Now you can extend the arm up. Finish the pose. And observe. Observe your pose. And reach up, pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana, thigh bones back. Lengthening the inner thighs. Lifting the outer knees to the outer hips. Lift up to the side ribs. Shoulders down, extend through the arms. Breathe. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step your feet apart. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior pose 2. Take your hands on your hips again. So here, again, with the feet, balance evenly on the feet, balance evenly on the inner and outer foot. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back, press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, lift the outer knees to the outer hips. Now we were, I believe, working on this last week. Maybe it was the week before. I lose track sometimes, especially these days. But I don't want you to think of it as bending the knee. I want you to think of it as dropping the femur bone and the buttock down. The knee will bend in order to do that. Do not push the weight into the balls of the toes, but the weight stays on the center of the front heel, okay? And on the back heel. So the back thigh moves back, press the back heel. Still turn the front thigh out, press the ball of the big toe. Same thing right here. Now, drop the femur bone and buttock down. Ensure that the weight stays on the front heel and on the back heel. And this is where you really have to tell me if this bothers you. It's okay? Okay, good. Now lengthen the groins. Lengthen the groins. Turn the torso towards the front wall, or the belly button really goes towards the back leg. Elbows back. Now extend the arms. Gaze over your front fingertips. Drop the shoulders. And reach for the back arm. Straighten the front leg. Parallel your feet. Hands on hips. Turn your left foot in. Turn your right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back to press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out as you press the ball of the big toe. Torso is parallel to the front and back walls. Now again, I want you to press the back heel. The knee will bend, but you're not bending the knee. Drop the buttock and femur bone. Drop the buttock and femur bone. The left buttock and femur bone. Lengthen the groins. Take your belly button towards that back leg, but lengthen both groins. Draw both outer knees to outer hips, compact the hips together. See if you can turn your torso a little bit more, Christy, towards that. That's it. Good, good, good. Now extend the arms. Gaze over your front fingertips. Sean, see if you can take your whole, don't move your legs, but take your whole torso towards the back arm, towards the other wall. So your torso is leaning over your front leg. You want your spine to be perpendicular to the floor. Reach with your back arm, straighten your leg, parallel your feet, jump or step your feet together. So a couple of things we're going to add here. Just watch for a second so you can see. So one is when you drop the buttock and the femur bone, don't lean your torso forward, right? Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. It's just as if it's you're not doing anything with it. It's just floating. Like it's just floating, not doing anything with it. The other thing is this back leg. So this inner thigh, but when it goes down, this leg obviously comes down, right? But this inner thigh needs to move to the outer thigh. So it will come down. If I bend the leg, it's obviously not staying there, right? But imagine this groin, the inner back thigh, is moving to the outer thigh. I'm trying to keep it up. I'm not trying to let it fall down so that there's a separation here of the two groins are actually moving away from each other as they lengthen, still compacting the hips together. Make sense? Words? All right, let's try it. So from Tadasana, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. And we'll do it with hands on hips just to get the tiredness of the arms and holding the arms up out of it. We'll work on the legs. So here, balance evenly on the feet. Balance evenly on the inner and outer feet. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Take the back thigh back, press the back heel. Turn the front thigh out, press the ball of the big toe. Right? These are the basics. We've been saying these for years. Now, yes, lengthen the groins. Yes, draw the outer knees to the outer hips. Now remember, the spine is just going to float in space. When you drop the right buttock and femur bone down, take the left groin towards the outer thigh. Okay? So the back leg, inner leg towards the outer leg, drop your buttock, femur bone down so that there's a separation. Weight is on the front heel and the back heel, of course. Don't let the knee go past the ankle, but try and get your thigh as close to parallel as is accessible to you today. Back thigh back. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Really compact those hips together. And now extend the arms and finish the pose. Observe your pose. That's the most important instruction. And then reach back, straighten the arm, or straighten the leg, excuse me, parallel your feet, hands on hips. Right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back, press through the heel. Press the ball of the big toe as you turn the front thigh out. Torso parallel to the front and back walls. Torso spine perpendicular to the floor. We want to keep it that way. So now remember the back leg. Picture it first. So the inner thigh moving towards the outer thigh. Maintain that and drop the front buttock and femur bone. But keep that back leg resistant so that there's space in the groins. Lengthen the groins. Again, weight on the front foot is on the heel, not the toes. Weight on the front heel and back heel. Lengthen the groins, compact the hips together. Lengthen through the side ribs, and now lift the arms, gaze over your front fingertips. Drop your shoulders down, observe your pose. Breathe. That looks better, Sean. Reach through the back arm, straighten the front leg. Parallel the feet. Pause here a minute. Balance evenly on the 2 feet. Balance evenly on the inner and outer foot. And then jump or step your feet together. Balance evenly on the 2 feet. Balance evenly on the inner and outer foot. Press your thighs back. Again, broaden across. I should have included this in Virabhadrasana too, but broaden across the front chest and the back chest evenly. Don't just open the front chest. Open the back. Are the legs working evenly? The side ribs lengthening evenly. Are the arms working evenly? And release. Take hold of your chair. Turn the back of the chair to face the front. And have a seat in your chair facing the side, so the right side of your body is facing the back of the chair. So turn around. Ah, okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. We have to practice non-attachment flexibility. I don't know what's right anymore. I'm happy to experiment. So arms forward, arms up. Reach up. Watch those front ribs sticking forward. Take the front ribs back, back ribs in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, take your arms up to the side and widen. Drop the shoulders. Now maintain the lift, maintain the width. Inhale, exhale, take hold of the back of the chair. Turning to the right. Good. Inhale, lift up through the side ribs. Exhale, no fists. So flat hands. Pull with the left hand, push with the right hand, and turn. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Elbows up, shoulders down. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Bring the left shoulder blade into the body. Wrap the ribs around. And then observe. Soft face, soft jaw. Broaden across the front chest, broaden across the back chest. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. And then turn around. And if you turn the chair around, you can turn the chair around. Extend your arms forward, arms up. Lengthen through those side ribs. Really reach up. Put the front ribs back, back ribs in. Inhale, maintain that lift. Exhale, take your arms up to the sides. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Elbows up, right? Because we need the lift and the width. So inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. But elbows up, shoulders down, so you can broaden across the front chest and the back chest. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Of course, the pace of your breath. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Elbows up, shoulders down, soft face. Broaden across the front chest, broaden across the back chest. Bring the right shoulder blade into the body and wrap the ribs around. Optimally for you today, not overdoing anything. Maintaining the lift, inhale, exhale, come to center. Stand up. Turn the chair around so the seat of the chair faces the center. Take your heels. It kind of depends what kind of chair you have. With these regular folding chairs, it often works with the heels just on the outside of those front legs. But I don't know what kind of chair everybody has. You might have to play with it a little bit. You're gonna don't just round your back to lean forward. There is a round into the back, but can you keep that length? Can you try and take the chest forward as you then take your hands between your legs and then hands onto the floor? Seek the heel of your hand onto the floor, even if it's not there. Even if it's not there. Squeeze your knees into your upper arms. Squeeze your knees into your upper arms. And broaden, even though it's a little compressed, still broaden across the front of the chest and the back of the chest. Now, some of you are going to stay here, totally fine. And some of you can reach the back bar of the chair. And if you can reach the back bar of the chair, then reach the back bar of the chair. Still squeezing your knees into your shoulders or the sides of the body that's just below the shoulders. And it's as if you're squeezing your torso forward, out through your arms. And if your hands are still on the floor, still pressing the heel of the hand towards the floor. It doesn't matter if it's not touching, it's not touching. But you're lengthening on the floor, you're lengthening from your inner armpit through the heel of the hand. You're holding the back. You're still lengthening from that inner armpit through the whole hand. And then everyone taking your hands then back between your feet, lengthen from the inner armpit, pushing through the inner wrist, through the heel of the hand, squeezing the knees into the outer arms or shoulders or body, wherever they happen to be touching. And then extending the chest forward as you slowly come up. You can place your hands on your thighs and push to come up. That was kind of fun, right? For me anyway. All right, come off the chair. Have a seat on the floor or a lift. Back to Dandasana. We're going to do some sitting twists. So either here on the floor, if that's accessible to you, or you take your lift, either the block or home blankets block. So from Dandasana, press the thighs down. So get the establishment of the legs and get the feet even, right? So that the little toe side of the foot isn't pushing forward. But as you draw the little toe side back, you're not overdoing it. That the toes or the feet are parallel to the wall. And then take hold behind your left leg, draw the leg towards the body, take hold of the ankle, and place the heel in line with the sit bone. Hands around your shin, lift. Lift up. Keep that straight leg working. The straight leg hasn't changed. Don't turn it out. The thigh presses down, lengthen the inner leg, outer knee to outer hip. Now Murchasana 1. So the right hand goes behind you, left arm up. Hopefully I'm getting my right and left. Try not to lean back too much, but use that back hand to help you lift the spine. Now begin to turn towards the right and bend the left elbow inside of that knee and trying to get that knee as close up to the shoulder as is accessible to you without just collapsing the chest. You still need the lift here, right? So the straight leg, thigh turned in, extend the inner groin, outer knee to outer hip. Inhale, lift. Use that back hand, push, lift. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn to the right. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. And you can use that knee, use the knee against the arm to help that turn. Let me see. Okay. Sometimes the lift helps, sometimes it doesn't. It all depends. Yeah, that looks good. Just see if you can turn. Yeah, that's good. Good. And stand into that standing leg foot. I mean, a bent leg foot. So left foot. Push into it. Push into it to help you lift. And inhale, exhale, come to center. Hands around the shin. Lift the chest. Hands behind the knee. Draw the flesh towards the buttock. Straighten the leg. Then draw the other leg in. Hands around the shin. Lift. Keep that straight leg. Thigh turning in. Thigh down. Lengthen the leg. Outer knee to outer hip. The back hand, the left hand goes back, right arm up. Really reach up. So press into the sit bone, stand into the heel and reach up. And then turn first and then bend the elbow. That's it. Now keep that straight leg, the thigh turns in, so toes up, thigh presses down. And then use that knee against the arm. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Stand into the bent leg foot, sit into the bent leg buttock, sit bone. Inhale, lifting, exhale, turning. Bring that right shoulder blade into the body. Broaden across the front chest, broaden across the back chest. Soft face. Maintain that lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center, hands around the shin, lift. And we're going to keep that leg bent. We're going to go right into Murjasana 3. Lift. Now lean forward and then either hook the elbow. If the elbow doesn't go, hook the hand. That's fine. Okay, so elbow or hand. The straight leg, thigh turns and presses down. Take the right hand on your belly button and pull it to the other side of the thigh. So you're using your arm or your hand to draw that bent leg thigh towards the torso. Then the hand goes behind you to help you lift. Straight leg is working. Thigh in. Turn the thigh in. Lengthen the groin. Compact the hips. Inhale, lift on your exhalation. Draw the thigh towards you and turn into the thigh. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Chin parallel to the floor. Maintain that spine nice and lifted. Side ribs nice and lifted. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Hands around your shin. Lift. Or come to, I should have said come to center. I said turn. I meant to come to center. I'll learn English one day. Hands behind your knee. Draw the flesh towards your buttock. Straighten your leg. Other side. Draw the leg in. Ankle. Place the foot down. Straight leg. Turn the thigh in. Lengthen the groin. Outer knee to outer hip. Hands around your shin. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come forward. Really reach forward. Reach forward and then either hook your elbow or your hand. Take your other hand on the belly button to help take it around to the other side of the thigh. And then the hand goes on the floor to lift. Inhale, lift. Watch that straight leg. The thigh turns in. Lengthen the groin, compact the hips. Inhale, lift. On your exhalation, use your hand or your arm. Draw the thigh towards you and then turn. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Soft face. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, turning. Bring that right shoulder blade into the body. The shoulders themselves release down. Relax the shoulders. And then broaden across the front chest, broaden across the back chest. Maintain the lift. Inhale, exhale, come to center. Hands around the shin, lift. Hands behind the knee, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag your heels, straighten your leg, hands by your hips, Dandasana. One last downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So on the floor, blocks, chair, stairs, pressing into the inner hand, rotating the upper arms out, turn your toes under, straighten your leg. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Thighs back. Is this the same pose as you did before? Yes, it's called the same, it has the same name, but is it really the same? Press the thighs back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Thighs back, let the head go, thighs back. Lengthen the groins, outer knees to outer hips. Take your abdomen, roll it towards the spine and back towards your tailbone. Take your armpits towards your thighs. Soft face and jaw. And then on your exhalation, bend the legs. Let your knees touch the floor precisely the same moment. Come into child's pose. If you were on the chair or the stairs, just come into Tadasana. If you're in child's pose, rest your head either on the floor or on a block or lift. Let your skull release. Then take your hands underneath your shoulders, push to come up. And everybody set yourself up for Shavasana. Lie back. Bend your legs into your chest for a moment. So just lie back and bend your legs into your chest. And just find a softening here. Find a broadening of the lower back. Release those inner groins to allow the thighs to come towards the torso. And use this as an opportunity as you give yourself this hug to say something kind to yourself. Offer gratitude to you. You can offer gratitude to other things. There's something, offer gratitude. But inclusive of that gratitude, can you make sure you're including you? On your inhalation, take your feet to the floor. Scoot the flesh of your buttocks towards your heels. Straighten your legs one at a time. If there's any aching in your lower back, you can take your calves on the chair. It's always fine. Find a comfortable place for your arms. And let go. Let go. Let the arms, the legs completely release. Surrender to the Mother Earth below you. Let the torso completely release, surrendering to the Mother Earth below you. See if you can find an evenness of surrender, of a letting go on the two sides of your body. Let the skull and the weight of the skull surrender to the Mother Earth below you. Again, an evenness on the two sides. And as the brain itself surrenders, an evenness on the two sides, the two hemispheres. Release, let go all of your facial features. Let your throat relax, let your tongue relax. Allow the breath to breathe you. Allow the breath to breathe you. Can you turn over all control, all trust to the breath, trusting that in its infinite wisdom, it knows exactly what to do. Let the breath breathe you. Shavasana. begin to lengthen the inhalation and lengthen the exhalation. A soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation, a soft, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart. Take your hands, place them onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. If you want to roll to the left, then that's fine. Pick a side. When you feel ready, place the top hand on the floor in front of your heart. Turn your torso towards the floor first. Take your chin towards your chest and push to come up. The head comes up last. When you come up to sitting, cross your legs the opposite way as you started class. Bring your palms together, your heart. Take a moment here and observe before rushing out to whatever's next. Take a moment here and observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? Take this yoga practice with you as you go throughout the rest of your day. With kindness and compassion for others, and most importantly, kindness and compassion for yourself. Let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Gently let your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you.